What's up, y'all? It's your man Dang D NYD. See, it's Tuesday night. It's Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz. Sitting here with my brother, co-host, man. Be riding with me, man, each and every Tuesday. Big A Sam Adams. What's good, bro?
Oh, ain't nothing changed. Another glorious Tuesday. Everything's totally wonderful. So no gripes, no complaints. We in here today.
Yeah, we in here, man. It's been we took a little hiatus, but we took a week off. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, family,
Mhm.
life, and different things going on. So we took a week off and we back. And there's been a lot of things that kind of been shaken down, since we've last sat together and talked with one another. And I'm really excited to get into that tonight. And you know, uh, I want to start off really with we had the Oscars pop
Mhm.
off
Yeah.
over the weekend, and I've said it before. I'm not a big Oscar watcher or show watcher, but this one was actually pretty interesting. I think over the weekend, mainly because, and I don't know if you like me, we were sitting here and was like, what the hell movie is that? There's a lot of there's a lot of that going on in our
Oh
house
yeah.
over the
Yeah.
weekend. So, curious, Sam, like, what was your thoughts on this year's Oscars and how it broke down?
Well, we were similar but opposite at the same time. It's like
Hmm.
we knew of them, but it's like, did you watch it? And it was like, nah, I didn't.
Nah.
I didn't check that one out. You know what I'm saying? And it was like one by one, everything. And I remember, and that's the crazy part because we went to the movies. I don't want to say we went a lot, but I went
Hmm.
enough to see the majority of the trailers of the films.
Okay.
I know I had interest in Conclave and what was the other one? The one with Karen Culkin. Um, hold on. A Real Pain. I wanted to
Real
see
pain.
those two just because I'm a Karen Culkin fan just because of his tenure on Secession and everything.
Hmm.
And just to see him grow as an actor, like it
Okay.
still amazes me to this time. I think the first film I saw him in was Scott Pilgrim,
Hmm.
uh, versus the Evil Seven X's or some crap like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, like haven't seen Wicked yet. I haven't seen The
Same here.
Brutalist. I haven't seen Conclave, even though I'm interested in Conclave too. Um, haven't seen Honora nor Complete
Nope.
Unknown. And
Nope.
what's the other one? Emily Perez or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amelia Perez. Haven't seen that joint either.
Amelia Perez. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Hmm.
So I was in the same boat. I was just like, interesting. It was golf claps. So when people won, it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Good
Yeah,
job.
yeah, that's how I felt because I was like, yeah, okay. So tonight's audience kind of like those of us at home, like, yeah,
Hmm.
we know them. Like, honestly, the only ones that really jumped out to me that I can honestly say off the rip I knew about was the Brutalist and
Hmm.
Substance. Like those two
Yeah.
were definitely and Wicked, obviously. And I too, like
Yeah.
you, um, did not and have not watched Wicked yet, but I guess at some point, I'll probably have to partake in Wicked because I mean, just the opening, performance with Ariana Grande and
Hmm.
damn, I just lost her name, Arivo. Um, they
Hmm.
kind of crushed it,
Cynthia.
man. Yeah, yeah, they crushed it,
Yeah.
in that opening segment, and
Yeah.
it was a breath of fresh air, and I can't even lie. My man who hosted it,
Conan
some
O'Brien.
yeah, Conan O'Brien. I think
Yeah.
he's a. Sometimes I think his humor is not really my humor, but I think he really did a good
Yeah.
job of navigating
Right.
and hosting the show. So I thought it
Hmm.
was a breath of fresh air, and it really just gave me a list, like you said, movies that I probably now I'm just going to sit down and watch
Yeah.
based off the buzz that we saw,
Hmm.
over the weekend. And like I said, Honora, the Amelia Perez, like there was just a whole lot. Like I said, I'm sitting here at one point, I'm going through my phone like. What the hell?
Exactly.
Who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
sitting here scrolling up like Amelia Perez.
Right, yeah.
Okay. You get that rundown right quick. Oh, it's a dope dealer there. Okay.
Right,
All right.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna
I'll
have to
check
put that
that
one in
out.
the queue. Yeah, I'm gonna put that
Yeah.
one in the
Yeah.
queue. Check it out. So
Totally understand.
yeah,
So yeah,
but yeah.
I give kudos to Conan O'Brien too. I like
Hmm.
Conan
Hmm.
O'Brien. I do agree. It's like some of his bits, you have to wait for it to stick. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When it
Yeah.
comes to him
Yeah.
like running the punch and the joke, and you just
Right.
have that pause, and it's like, okay, all
Yeah,
right,
right,
I
yeah.
see what you did right there. So, but I think overall, like, I like the interaction between him and Adam Sandler. It did drag on a little bit too much. He
Yeah,
even squeezed in the damn Kendrick and Drake
sure
plug in
did.
there too. So,
Sure
like, I
did.
mean, but overall, like, it reminded me of his show,
Yeah.
just like his stage presence and the little bits that he had in between,
Yeah.
sets or announcements of award winners and everything. So, like, once again, I had a good time. So, um, we'll see. I, I guess everyone's going kind of in the indie route. This reminds me of the year that
Yeah. Yeah.
what it was, Parasite. I know that was a while ago.
Yeah,
Or
because that was definitely yeah. I remember that whole it seemed like that whole award show was definitely built out of all indie shows. Seemed like that kind
yeah,
of came from out of nowhere that really weren't
yeah,
weren't on a lot of people's radar. So you're
hmm
very right. This was very reminiscent of that. But it was a pleasure too. Like sometimes it is a
yeah,
pleasure to kind of have that change up where it's not necessarily the so-called blockbuster films
right,
that
yep,
they really turn out to be lackluster at times. And you give them some new energy. And I think partially though, if I be honest with you, I think that's like the new wave, even with a lot of things that working with Infusion TV and the Mogul TV Global Network, a lot of
yeah,
people are finding different spaces and places to
right.
bring new content and different type of conversations, and that's what it reminded me of that when you mentioned that specific point right there, which is like spot on.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate that. Thank you.
hey, yeah, hey, you spot. Listen here, bro. I mean, we gonna go ahead. We'll toast you up, for
All
bringing
right.
that one to
Hey,
light. Yeah,
hey,
hey, hey. We bring that one to light. But we're gonna
hey.
transition to again over the weekend talking about entertainment. There was a downside, if you will. We lost a woman who had brought a lot to the entertainment industry. Our sister Angie Stone passed away unfortunately over the weekend. Angie really kind of covered a lot of things in music. A lot of people don't realize or remember she was in the rap group, and
Mhm.
then she transitioned to R&B and the neo soul, and it's
Yeah,
just really unfortunate. I know there's a lot of music and there's certain songs that hit with people, but like I was a huge fan of hers, and just really loved her energy and her voice and her sound. Is there anything for you, Sam, that maybe you reminisce or think about, when you think of Angie Stone?
I mean, when I hear her and I see her voice, I just think of the early 2000s and just,
Mm,
I don't want to call it a renaissance, but
hmm.
just the neo move and everything,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I pit her with Jill Scott,
yeah,
Erica Badu,
yeah.
Kendrick Family
Hmm.
Soul, Belial, Eric Robertson, and I could
Hmm.
go on, and Kim. I could go on and on, but it was just like that fit in
Right.
that time that it didn't matter if you was watching BET, had your streaming services. Like, there was an Angie Stone track that
Yeah,
complemented anything that you could have been going through. She had the one track, I think, Brother. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That resonates with me. She did the remake of I Want to Thank You.
Hmm.
So I'm just appreciative of everything that she gave us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like you said, with the energy and everything. So it's just crazy, because I know I woke up and I was just like, "What?" You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it was, how the accident happened makes it even crazier.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but she will be missed.
Definitely.
So what I'm saying, I just, prayers go out to her and her family,
All
her
day,
staff,
all day.
everyone that was surrounding her. Prayers just go out to everybody, at this time.
Yeah, you're right. I remember at our little, our group chat. We like, what is this for real? Like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? It just one of those things. Still to be relatively young and still, touring and putting on shows. And I think
Hmm.
if I remember correct, reading the article, she was on her way to HBCU event
Yeah.
when it happened, and just the freakiness of the accident. with so many people involved. I think there was eight or nine other people in the vehicle with her, and she's the
Mhm.
only one to pass. And yes, it's so sad.
Yeah,
Honor you, 100%. We definitely hope that she rests in peace, sleeps in peace, and we send our prayers and our love, and our heartfelt condolences to her family and all of those involved. At this time, hopefully they all make it through. We continue to send
yeah,
love and prayers, to them. Um, we also had in the news, and I kind of caught this one, and as we head into our sports segment, I thought this was interesting. Our sister, I mean, this sister, man, is definitely, if not the greatest female athlete, but definitely one of the greatest athletes to ever do it. Uh, she's coming out, she's partnering up in ownership with the WNBA team in Toronto, the first team to be a part of the WNBA, coming from Canada. And it's really impressive to see. And I would be curious, like, we talk, a whole lot of different things about sports, but like looking at
right.
Serena, the icon in tennis, like it kind of, not to say blew my mind, but I was like, man, she's moving into, NBA and more of a, a little bit. I don't want to say it's even bigger than tennis, but
Hmm.
she's bringing her belts, if you will, and her championship into the NBA arena. And what do you think that's going to look like, and what is it going to mean for the women's game, moving forward?
Well, first off, I'm excited about it. I think we talked about it previously.
Hmm.
Expansion is good. And I feel
Hmm.
like for the WNBA, in order to capitalize on the momentum that's heading up right now,
Right.
expansion is going to be key. So, first off, shout out to Serena. Shout out to Toronto getting a club or getting a franchise out there.
Right. Right.
I think it's going to be good business. Well, I don't know. We're in a weird space right now. So,
Right.
and I had to think about big picture right now. Uh,
Right.
I don't know how receptive the folks out there in Toronto is going to be about this expansion,
Yeah.
since it's still under the NBA moniker.
True.
So,
True.
I mean, if they're still supporting the Toronto Raptors, there's a good chance that there's going to be a market out there. Toronto Tempo, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
name of the
Yeah. The
club.
tempo. Yep. The Toronto tempo.
Yeah. So I think that there's potential for them to sit there and grow.
Hmm.
Minus hockey and CFL.
Right.
This is just another sports outlet for the city to sit here and capitalize off of, and hockey too.
Agreed.
Don't let me forget hockey
Agreed.
and
Like,
baseball, all of that.
but
Yeah, I think
but
I think this is a different expansion because now you're moving into the space of the WNBA. So
right.
now you're bringing in a whole different market,
Another
to
market.
the
Yeah.
program in that AO. So it could.
Well,
I think it'll be beneficial.
I think it will too. And I mean, I salute her and I commend her for making that move. But look, so I gotta be honest, Nate, and I throw no jab. So what's up with Drake? So Drake getting courtside tickets? Like
He
what's
probably is.
what
He,
you
he,
know?
he probably is. He probably going to be looking for the owner box. Like I can't get in. DJ
I
going to
just
be the DJ going to be throwing jabs at him. Be like, you used to call me on my cell phone.
right, right, all that, So I
Yeah.
mean, it's so I love it, that she's doing it, she's making that move, and she's making that leap. But I instantly also went to the whole Drake scenario. We watched everything play out,
Mhm.
Super Bowl with Kendrick, and now she's taking ownership. So I think it'll be a very
Mhm.
interesting dynamic. I'll be honest with you, if both of them are smart, I mean, this is a great media win for the team.
Yeah.
If some way somehow, there's, I don't know if they squash the beef or there's some type of partnership, because I know that that's his home, that the
Nah.
Great North. And I mean, we can
No,
wish.
no beef squash. You keep
No
that
beef.
hatred. Yeah, you keep that. I mean,
Yeah.
all the subtle insults, not just from
Yeah.
her, but for her husband too. You
Hmm.
know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That once you start, and I mean, and this is just me. So once you start incorporating family and everything in there like
Yeah.
that, like gloves are off.
Yeah.
So maybe her taking over this franchise was like one of those subliminal jabs, like
Could
uh,
be.
I got a team in your city. What you going to do now? You know what I'm saying?
You never
So
know. You're right. You
yeah,
never know.
maybe they'll have that kumbaya moment, like they're doing a warm up game and he's down in the front seats and he's like looking up at the press box or the owner's box and they have lights pan on the both of them, like one down here and one up there. Yeah, exactly. And he like called me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, something like
Yeah,
that
man.
might happen too. Like you never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, that's for
Oh,
sure. But
definitely.
look, I love the fact that we're bringing new energy, we're bringing new ownership, we're bringing a powerful woman. Like I said, one of the
Mhm.
greatest athletes, if not greatest female athlete, to do it on the tennis court. So shout out to Serena and her move to WNBA ownership with the Toronto Tempo. Can't wait to see what that looks like. And now we've talked about it. We're in that gray area of the
Yeah.
season of sports where
Hmm.
we're on the cusp of March Madness, but you have these funny I guess days or weeks leading up to free agency and a whole bunch of different things with trades and some of the people that we've seen in the news get released recently. And so this NFL segment is being brought to you by our friends over at Riddick Entertainment. And staying here in the DMV, we see that the Commanders went out and made a move, or Deebo made a move and got himself moved from the
Hmm.
49ers here to our backyard in the DMV. And
Yeah.
out of curiosity, like, I think we can honestly say we watched the Commanders grow up literally in front of our eyes this
Yeah.
past season.
Hmm.
And now bringing, a player of, and this is what I want, because I think Devo is a good player, but over the last couple of years, he has not been the same player due to injuries and things like that. Sam, do you think he still has it enough in the tank to really give Washington that 1 or 1A with McLaurin, on the outside? And does he help elevate them offensively, maybe to get over the humps that they had, late in the playoffs, this past season?
Yes, if he could stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key thing right now.
Right.
Like the past 2-3 years, he's been plagued with all kind of injuries, and he hasn't been able to like stay on the field. Um, Even before the trade, I felt like that was a bigger concern over there in San Fran if he was to stay on the team. But we knew how unhappy he was
Right.
with being over there. So I think it's more pressure on him
Mm,
because I think the Commanders will be sustainable
right.
and with their current roster, unless anything big happens during free agency or trades or the draft, I think that they're in a good position to compete
Yeah.
in the NFC, compete in their
Mm-hmm.
own division.
Right.
So if he can remain healthy, because he's like a hybrid, you could put him anywhere on the doggone field.
True.
So he would be a valuable asset, but they kind of got Austin Eckler for that too.
True.
So yeah, I think he brings a lot, but his health is going to be that number one concern.
Yeah.
So, like, can he? I don't even want to say can he last the whole season. Can he sustain to be beneficial to the program to take him to that next level?
I think that's the key. Like I said, just watching him, with the injuries, the Achilles, and the different things that have happened. He's still relatively young,
Yeah,
so that's the upside. But these type of injuries, though, lower leg injuries and things of that nature, especially to a receiver, and really, what you said really clearly. I mean, he's more like a Swiss Army knife
yeah,
type guy.
hmm,
So how does his durability really play out? And I think we've seen it with Austin Eckler. He got banged up,
yeah,
concussion protocol for a couple of weeks, last season for the Commanders. So it'll be interesting.
hmm,
I mean, you have two guys like that. I mean, it's definitely, if you can put them both on the field and create those matchups.
yeah,
One, two. I think Deebo is a guy that, like Terry McLaurin, kind of reminded us this past season that he is a number one, and that, look, just put the ball up and I'll go get it. Because sometimes, it's
yeah,
not about play or scheme. You just need a guy that sometimes you just got to beat the man in front of you.
yeah,
And that, I think, is going to be key. And I'm curious to see what happens with Deebo and how they use him, and especially in those goal line or those tough yard situations where
yeah,
you need somebody to go out and make a play. I think that's where he brings that extra that you just need that tough guy. You need that pit bull, and
Mhm.
he reminds me of that. So I think it's a good pickup for them, especially look for a 5th round draft pick. Man,
Oh yeah.
that's like a steal, And
Oh
then
yeah.
I believe the Commanders are paying the balance of this year's contract. So I mean, to me, that's a win-win. And like you said, we just have to see it play out. And if he can avoid, like you said, being injured is going to be interesting for the Commanders. And I mean, look, right now, if we're looking at the NFC East, I mean, we can definitely leave my Giants out there in the Gulf of America, as as
Yeah.
this guy says. And Dallas is not too far off, and I mean, it really looks like a 2-team race in the East this year. So
Yeah.
maybe the Commanders can get over the hump with this addition of Deebo. So
Yep.
we're
Yeah.
gonna we're
I
gonna
agree.
stay.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean it's a long season. It's a long way to go. See what other pieces happen. But staying at the position though, we had another gentleman, which uh I know he's probably not too happy
Yeah.
about his situation up there in Cincinnati. But T. Higgins got doubled down on. They franchised him again for the second time, and it's one of those things where I think we kind of overlook what T. Higgins really brings to the table for Cincinnati. I mean, over the last 3 or 4 years of his career, he's been one of the most effective and productive number twos, if you will, that we've seen in a long time. Um,
Hmm.
how do you think? I mean, he's getting his money. Nobody wants to be tagged twice, but he's
Right.
getting probably upwards of $20+ million.
Yeah. I want to say
But
23. I think it
right,
was.
I think that's what I
Yeah.
remember reading about. I know it's 20 plus, but
Yeah.
what does it look like though going forward now with Cincinnati and how they have to really reshuffle their organization and try to move forward and bring on additional pieces because they were terrible last year. Offensive
Right.
line was terrible and their defense wasn't no better.
So here's my. I feel like T. Higgins deserved the money. Yeah, the year prior wasn't
Without question.
too hot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that was like his lowest productivity of his career thus far.
Mhm.
But he was injured at the same time too. I think he stepped up. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind that Joe Cool was hurt too. So
Mhm.
therefore, and I forgot who their backup was. That's how bad it was.
That's how bad
But
it was. Was it like
yeah,
Driscoll or somebody like that? I don't
I
know.
think
Like,
so. Yeah.
mhm.
We're just throwing names out there, but either
Basically,
way, either way it goes, that wasn't at any fault of T. Higgins. So,
right.
me honestly, pay the man. You're right; they do need to restructure their O line. Their defense has been an issue
Mm.
time and time again.
Yep.
So I'm just like, when is the Bengals like? You want to be a contender, which you show flashes every season. You know what I'm saying? You can
Mhm.
run with your Buffalo, Baltimore,
Mhm.
New England, Pittsburgh,
Right.
and so forth. Kansas City too. Like you can run with these guys, but like you can't finish with them. You're
Yeah.
all flash and no bang right now.
Yep.
So give doggone T. Higgins what he deserves. You know what I'm saying? He deserves a nice contract for what he brings to the team. Keep Joe Burrow happy that
Yep.
you're investing in his number one, and go clean up that goddamn defense. You know what I'm saying? And get some true D linemen and a doggone secondary. Like those are your critical roles right there, because you barely have any room to navigate within the cap or draft as it is. So, take advantage of the free agency, get a doggone defense, so you're not keeping and reliant. That's why you see the injuries with Higgins and Burrow,
True.
because they're
Yeah.
on the doggone field too damn
Oh
long.
yeah. All along. All along.
It's
Yeah.
like about time
Mhm.
they score, there's a 3 and out, you know what I'm saying, or the other
You're
team
back on the
scores
field.
two. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're right there back on the doggone field. So,
Mhm.
like, invest in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You already got your core offensive pieces. So, get some defense to kind of marry that too.
Yeah. I think that you hit it on the head. I couldn't have said it any better. If they can get a defense that can either come up with some turnovers,
Hmm.
switch the field, flip the field for them, or can really help, uh, even if it's a long drive, but keep the other team to a three, or
Yeah.
stop them down in the red zone to give their offense some help and some time to breathe, I think it'll go a long way. But look, I'm not mad at it. Look, T. Higgins is getting his money at the end of the
Yeah.
day. It may not be the length, or amount of time, or amount that he wants, but you
Yeah.
know, he's doing a great job. And like you said, I mean, for a guy to be injured and really come back, he led the team in touchdowns. He had 10 touchdowns in the season. I mean,
Yep.
that really speaks a lot too of what his value is to Cincinnati in that system and what he really brings, each and every week when he is on the field. So
Yeah.
I look forward to it. And we talk about quarterbacks. When you talk about quarterbacks too, we watched another guy over the weekend who I think a lot of us were questioning, how long or if, or more like when he was going to leave. But, Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they finally got locked in together and signed that contract, that extension. Now, I know you and I, we had talked during the season about really how impressive the Rams really looked as they got healthy and got all of their pieces back. And, I mean, we're still talking about Cooper Kupp and a couple of other, guys on that team potentially being traded or leaving. But what is your
Right.
take now that Matthew Stafford is back in the fold in LA? Because I know how I feel about it, but I'm curious to hear how do you feel about him remaining there in LA?
I mean, I'm excited, but at the same time, it's like, what are you going to do, excuse me, to help him out? Because I think they already decided that they're not bringing Cooper Kupp back.
Yep.
I mean, you still got Nakua. They have a couple of young running backs and everything. But now we need to sit here and build on the receiving core and everything too.
Right.
I really thought that the Rams were going to try to work out some type of trade or draft pick package with Matt Stafford. So this kind of changed the ball game in the West, knowing that there's so many teams, or knowing that like the other teams are still rebuilding at the same time, as far as Arizona, the Seahawks, and the Niners. So this does put them in a pretty good spot. At least you don't have to sit here, draft a quarterback, or go with the not so, stable of veteran quarterbacks that's out there, you know. So I think it puts them in a good spot. I think it puts the Rams in a good spot to sit here and be, as of right now, because we don't know how healthy the Niners are going to be, or how rattled they're going to be with the draft. And I mean, not draft, but free agency too. Because there could be some other players that's unhappy out there in San Fran too. So as of right now, this puts LA, in that number one spot for the NFC West.
That's how I feel, Matt. Like, I understand, the Cooper Kupp situation is one thing. I think, we know about Puka. They do have some other guys that, that are rounding in the shape. Their running game seems to be pretty solid. And just watching them though, and really, I think the key is one, like every NFL football season, one is all about health and how healthy these guys can stay. But their defense rounded into form as well in the second half of the season. And just watching that, right on time, right? And you and I, we talked about that. How kind of out of the blue, it's just like everything just fell into place. And now with Matthew staying, I think that does put them in the front, because you talked about San Francisco. We don't know, I think Brock Purdy situation, that's still up. That's still up in the air, and that's still up in flex. And you don't know how that's going to play out, and how, if they sign him or if they don't, like what kind of impact that has across the entire team in the locker room. Two, I mean, look, McCaffrey's not getting any younger. Ayuk is there, but Ayuk seems to get hurt in the same manner and it misses game. So there's a lot of questioning that, that I question about where San Francisco may be next year. And I have to put the Rams, just the fact, like you said, they bring they starting quarterback back. They don't have to go look for a guy. This is a guy that's won a Super Bowl. He's been through the fire. So that to me just elevates them right now, because let's be honest, Arizona is Arizona. And we don't really know what the transition or what the shift is happening in Seattle, because I think they're going to go through a shift. Nothing against Geno, but it seems like they've been trying to get rid of him or move him out of the QB1 since he took over for Russell. So I don't know. I'm not really strong on them, and we watched them falter anyway towards the back half of the season. So right now the Rams have to be in the front runner position starting the season. So it'll be very interesting. And again, continuing talking about QBs, man, it's like right now it's candy rain out here. It's like, yo, pick your poison and whichever one you want. We got Sam Darnold out there, famous Jameis. Justin, A Rod. I mean, and that's just a few. You know, we're missing a couple of other guys that will probably be a little bit more financially stable going
Mhm.
into next season. And what do you think, or what do you foresee happening with some of these guys that we see in the news, where they may land and how it may pan out?
Man, I mean, it's not tough. I was thinking about that too. I
Mhm.
think the only one that has a real opportunity to like land and stick as of right now is going to be Sam Darnold.
Agreed.
I think that he's probably, I mean, unless he shakes the bag, maybe he can end up in Tennessee or something like that. But to
Right.
have a winning formula in Minnesota, I think it would be hard to miss out on the opportunity because one, he's going to be a veteran. He can help
Yeah.
out AJ McCarron and everything. I
Right.
mean McCarthy. I said McCarron.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Whew.
McCarthy.
Yeah. But I think that he was already in that backup position, so
Yeah.
I feel like you know you Minnesota needs a veteran in there. So if anyone, he would be my top candidate for that position.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, nah, bro. I think his tenure
Oh,
in the NFL is
he's probably gonna miss the anyway. I mean, he had the Achilles, so I think even when he comes back, I agree. I think his NFL career is over.
yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah.
Um, you see the bust that happened when he left Houston to Cleveland. I don't
Mhm.
think that there's going to be anyone that's going to sit here, and I could be wrong, but maybe later on in the season, if we start to get this uptick of injuries,
Right.
I could see him coming back in. But there's nothing for the past 3 years of any type of proof of any consistency or performance
Agreed.
from him to make me even think that a team will warrant to bring him on. You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying?
Yep.
Let's see who else we got. Aaron. I mean, if he wants to follow the Brett Favre trilogy, you know what I'm saying?
Jeez.
You have to leave the
Minnesota.
you have to leave you have to leave the Jets.
We'll go to
You know what I'm
Minnesota.
saying? And you have to take your talents to Minnesota to go ahead and close it out. Will that happen? I don't know. Like I said, I think that they have a good thing in McCarthy, and
Yeah.
then I think that Sam Darnold will eat some humble pie, be like restructure, keep me here.
You think?
And then you have a conundrum too between Trey Lance and Russell Wilson.
I
Like
was just gonna say.
I was thinking about the both of them too. Like that's
Mhm.
tough. I
Yep.
really feel like Trey Lance could stay in Pittsburgh. I
Pittsburgh,
feel
he
like he
could.
could stay there because he's younger and like
Mhm.
let him grow. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? No more two-way battles. You know what I'm saying? Like you give this guy a chance to develop
A
for a whole
legitimate shot.
season, yeah,
Right.
in a good program.
Yeah.
As far as Russell Wilson, I think that's going to go wherever he decides to go. Maybe we'll see him in
Upstate.
doggone in the. No, I'm
Upstate.
not taking him
Oh,
up north. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you
Please do.
good. You good. You safe. You safe. Y'all going to draft the QB. I think y'all chance was to get Sam Darnold. I mean, not Sam Darnold, but Matt Stafford. Since y'all
Uh-huh.
didn't do anything to
Right.
capitalize on that, I think that y'all relying on the draft. So
Yeah.
whether it's Dart, Shador Sanders, Caleb Martin, one of
Cam
them,
Ward.
Campbell
Gotta be
Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that y'all going draft heavy as
Mhm.
far as like your new number one. I don't think that there's going to be any type of old guard up there in New York. You know what I'm
So
saying?
it's funny,
Uh,
like the one guy that you mentioned, I said, because they know what I said, Trevor. I was said Lance. I said, why not? You
mhm.
might be able to get him on the cheap.
Yeah, which
You
is
know what I'm
true.
saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Yeah,
He's a mobile quarterback. He's got a good arm.
yeah.
He really just haven't had a chance. Though. And the only thing is, though, I agree with you. New York may not be the place for that chance, though, because if we're
No,
already
no.
bad, it's not going to
Yeah,
make him any
no,
better.
that,
And
that that yeah. No, you're right. That will make
Mhm.
me nervous. I
Yeah,
wouldn't want him. Don't put him in a system that's already broken.
right,
You know,
right,
and
right.
no offense to the G-man, but we already know that's what it is. You
Yeah,
know,
it's trash. Yep.
so like I feel like I think I think Pittsburgh is a good spot for him. Like
I do
honestly,
too.
you know what I'm
I
saying?
do too.
Like I said, just no competitions. Like you know where he's weak at, which is like
Right,
his actual awareness on the field. He can
right.
run the ball, but
Oh,
like
oh.
he doesn't know how to sit here and cipher the whole field. He gets
Mm-hmm.
so like one dimensional and tunnel vision on a
Agreed.
receiver. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like you have this off season, get him a nice QB coach, develop him so he can come
Yep.
back. He got the leg speed. He got the arm. He just needs the accuracy to go along with it, and he will be a value. He'll be a threat
Look,
on the field.
we're
For
potentially
QB.
looking at another Justin Fields, because I think Justin
Yeah.
Fields could potentially be the breakout star, depending
Mhm.
on, again, right situation with better pieces,
Yeah.
and give him the time to go to commit to playing. Because I mean, we saw that in Pittsburgh. I mean, this dude came out, he's like 4-2 or whatever it was, with the transition back to Russ, and Russ hit us with fool's gold for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I think Justin Fields is really the one to watch. I think
Yeah. I
he
said Trey Lance, Justin
yeah,
Fields. You're
yeah,
absolutely right.
Justin, he has the best trajectory, if you will. And I
Yes.
think he brings the most. And I would keep my eyes on him. And honestly, if we talk about like my G-men, like if I'm going to be 100% honest, I would like, look, famous Jameis, he still got an arm. He makes bad decisions, but if we're talking about stopgap, he's one guy. I would like to have a guy that has had some NFL starts, that understands, defenses and things like that. He's not his read sometimes definitely sketchy. He's real sketchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we're going to do a stopgap with a Shador or a Cam, this might be an option. I've never heard any real negative things about him in the locker room, and just watching him in Cleveland, he seemed to be a very pro team guy. A
Yeah.
very, so if that's the type of energy I can get around, a number one pick, a guy that we're trying to groom for a year, he too may not be a bad option. He may be, again, it's all about money and about getting them on the cheap. And I think he might be a guy that's available. Just throwing it out there, because if they bring Sam Damn Donald back to New York, I'm gonna be pissed as hell. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be pissed as hell. No reason. There's no reason for it. We seen it in the green and white, and we don't want to see it in the blue and white. So let's just keep it pushing.
I understand. Yeah, I got a feeling he's not going to go. I think he's going to stay in Minnesota, unless, like I said, if they could get Aaron on the low, then I think Minnesota will swap that out just out of pettiness. They'll swap that out in a heartbeat just to sit here and be like, see what we have now, Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? And then you just be like,
Like the only issue that I really have with Sam's, and I mean, I know it's a comfortability thing, and he knows the system and things, but I don't know. I just feel that builds. Again, you go from being the starter of a 13-3, 13-4 team to having to take a back seat. And if they struggle, like I don't, and I'm not saying Sam is not that guy, but does it become, see, look at me, see, I told you. You know what I'm saying? And then you have a whole fallout. And I don't know if it's a good idea. I mean, if he could capitalize, I think it would be best for him to, whatever capital, we know now it probably won't be 20+ million a year, but if you can get a 12 to 15 for 3 or 4 years, you make another 45, 50, in Vegas or Tennessee or wherever it may be. I think that's the best move. I don't know. And I'm just being honest. If it was me, I'm the starter, and we went this far, and then and I know the kid was already anointed before he got hurt. We know, I get that, but I did do the work. I did do all the work, with these guys, and I don't know if I'll be ready to be demoted after the season.
But he's not going to have that same success if he goes anywhere else. There's not. If you look at the teams that need a quarterback, which is Cleveland, Carolina, Tennessee, Vegas, maybe Indy, out of that pool,
good point,
has potential. But then now you're dealing with Anthony Richardson too.
But maybe Anthony Richardson does need a kick in the pants right now,
which is true.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that might not be a bad thing. For Indy, because
so,
they do have probably the most talent on the table.
Yeah. If you look at those teams that are in need right now for QBs, I would. If Indy offers me the bag, then that's where I'm going.
That's not,
you know what I'm saying?
That one slipped under the radar.
But I don't think the talent. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's like we said, it's McCarthy's team, so it's only him to. But out of the remaining QBs, the only one that I feel that will be in a role as far as being a mentor would be Russell Wilson out of that pool right there. I know that there's probably other QBs that are, probably going to be looking for a job, but he's going to be the only one to sit here and take AJ McCarthy under his wing.
Yeah, well, I mean, because he's kind of had to do that now already. Now at this stage in his career,
Yeah.
So for him to move forward, and I agree with you, but that's one of those, man. I had to sit there, really had me sitting here really just trying to realize, like, yo, like, bro, you pull Indy out the hat. And I'm like, whoa, like for real, like that's a good one. I had
Yeah.
totally overlooked him.
Uh-huh.
That could be a fit. Sam Damn Donald, man, get your agent. That because I
Mhm.
mean, I think Anthony Richardson. I do think he's talented. I
Yeah.
watched a couple of Indy games. Like the boy has a cannon. Like he
He
could probably
does.
throw. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
his short game and his
His
touch
conditioning.
and his conditioning is
Yeah,
terrible. I mean, you
that's
saw.
critical too. Yeah.
I've never seen a quarterback say, "Coach, take me out."
Yeah, I'm tired.
Like, hey, I'm tired. You know,
Like,
so
what the hell is that? Yeah. I'm gonna take your ass out, all right. You know what I'm saying? Just sit all the way down there.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
so yeah,
We'll,
there's some
we'll,
work that need to be
yeah,
done.
we'll come back to you in like 5 games. We'll revisit this. You know what I'm
Basically.
saying? Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good call. That was a good call. I like that, man. You was on point with that one. So that was our NBA segment, ladies and gentlemen. You all, sitting here with Sam and I on two mics up. This is Tuesday. This is the Tuesday Blitz. King's Corner edition. We just have a little fun, man. We try to talk all sports and entertainment. Hey, I see a lot of you in the woods. I thank you for joining us. Hey, jump in, drop a comment, anything you want to hear, talk about, whatever. Just let us know. Glad that you are here with us this evening, man. Just having a little
Appreciate it.
fun. Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Um, we're gonna transition to the hardwood because we kind of get into the meat of things. And first, I got to start. I got to apologize to you and the Mavs.
Oh,
Kyrie now.
hey,
Uh,
you see why? You see my background?
I was,
We, hey, look. We throwing bricks for the rest of the season, bro. I was like, hey, look, I couldn't even put the logo up today. I was like, I, I am not in the mood. You know what I'm saying? I was like, let me lay these,
yeah.
let, let me lay these bricks up here because this is the remaining. The remaining of the 2025 Dallas Mavericks season is this
Yeah,
wall right
man.
behind me.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be tough. And just watching it, I mean, you know that you're hurt already, and you taking these two free throws, and this, watching him,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I, it to me it was like in his mind, he already knew what it was,
Yeah,
and so this really puts a whole new spin on what happens with the Mavs now in the West, and you hear all the pundits talking about, how Dallas and had already lost the trade and things going on. Is it time for them to really pack it up? Because I mean, we laugh and we joke. They really gonna be putting up bricks out there for the rest of the season. It's gonna be tougher to win, but like, is it time to pack it up? Forget the even playing in, for the playing games, or do we just
yeah.
revamp and go for next? Just get ready for next year.
Well, one, we can't even revamp because of the cap space that we have.
Mm, mm,
So, two, now Kyrie is in a bad spot because he's going to be a free agent next year. So there's not even a guarantee that we'll be seeing him back in the Mavs uniform come next year.
right.
Three, there's is way too many injuries right now.
Right.
Kyrie, AD, PJ Washington,
Uh-huh.
Derek Lively, Gafford, and
Gafford. Yeah.
I think there's one dang new kid that they just picked up in the draft.
Oh yeah, the young kid.
Yeah, Max.
Max. Yeah, he hurt too. Like it's the
Whatever.
Walker Moon.
Everybody's
It was
hurt.
Mash.
Like
It's the Mash unit. Yeah.
really, what we got going on is your starting five that should be starting is all plagued with injuries. So
Yeah.
like, I think it's up. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to risk anyone coming back and be susceptible to re-aggravating an injury or
Mm-hmm.
getting injured worse. Like
Yeah.
for me, my season is over with. Once I saw a slide from doggone 5 to 10, and I know that we're competing with doggone, I think Phoenix right now,
Phoenix
as
right now
far
in the
as
dog
like 10, 11 seed.
Yep.
So we're literally on the outside looking in with 20, 30 games remaining for the rest of the season. Like I think that's a tall task, and even if you were to make it into the play-in, like I don't even feel like we would have a chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm to the point now. Like let's just hopefully we can let it stick, but I think that's going to be a stain on the players that we have, and if any
Mm.
are open to free agency, Probably won't see him in the Mavs uniform again anyway. So it's a lot. And then it leads me to what I said beforehand too. You're raising ticket sales over there in Dallas. Nobody liked Nico Barnes. So I feel like we're going to go back to that early 90s when we had the 3 J's and they couldn't do anything as far as like the Mavericks. Like you have all this potential on the team, but like you're just a shitty franchise. This is going to be that fuel in the fire to sit here and drive Dallas to Vegas because we still have that expansion that's happening in a couple of years too. So if I devalue all the stock in this franchise, like that gives me the opportunity to sit here and move them. So I'm more concerned about that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's definitely, I don't want to say tank time, but it's time to shelve it. Get everybody together, and like I said, the only problem is they really don't have much maneuverability. You don't even have no drafts this year. You have no first round draft picks this year. You know what I'm saying? So like and I'm sorry, liquor got me a little bit right now. We talk about your Mavs. Go ahead.
I know what Cliff said the last time. He was like, "Sam be getting passionate." You know what, Cliff? You got damn right. But but I'm just thinking like there's so much lost, and there's minimum for you to sit here and gain out of the season. So like,
true.
How do I get these players? Because and I know I see it. They're giving their all on the court, but you lost Luka, you lost your captain. You know what I'm saying? In Kyrie, you don't have no true leaders. The next one that's supposed to be up is AD, but now we're talking about shutting him down for the season. So who's going to sit here and step up and be that person to be like, you know what, I'll lead them. You know what I'm saying? We don't have none of that right now. So
I think you got to lean on. I mean, I hate to say it, like when you say lead. This puts Klay Thompson in a weird position.
Right.
His leadership may have to come in a different form. Maybe not with points like he did in his highlight years, but maybe energy, confidence. Just talking to the guys, being that veteran leadership. In the locker room and on the floor. But like I said, overall, when you look at the talent, they've been decimated. This season. So it's going to be really hard. I mean, I feel bad because we're talking about a team that was just in the NBA finals. Yeah. Right. So we talking about, 8, 9, 10 months later, they basically took a torch to it and just basically blew up the whole team. And again, part through trade and through injury, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, for the Mavs. And, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't caught on to it. We're talking about NBA right now. It's our NBA segment. Brought to you by our advertising partners over at Tico Rico Hot Sauce. Spicy, never tasted so good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and go online, man. Tico Rico Hot Sauce. You can find them online. Go ahead and buy you a 3-pack while it's on sale, man. Go out there and you buy something, hit me up. Let me know how you like it, because that's my new thing right now. Mustard-based sauce. It ain't your regular. You ain't seen nothing like it. You ain't tasted nothing like it, so check it out.
I got to get some myself.
Hey, man, look. Straight fire, three cons, and then the fourth man is seasonal. Man, that habanero be kicking in, but they got the habanero, Sierra Lime, and this other one, man, some old four-star ghost something that, you're behind. Yeah, you're behind won't like it, but it goes down so good. But we staying in the NBA, and we're gonna talk about a couple of teams because I'm these were a couple of teams that when the season started. These teams were kind of on the cusp of a lot of conversations, but NBA season is long and things happen. But we want to talk about what's wrong, here in these four cities. So I want to start out, and I think you and I we talked about it briefly on several different occasions. We'll start out here in Philly.
Okay.
I mean,
this is an easy one. Go ahead.
Right. I'm gonna start with a live. I'm gonna live you the Sixers because I think this one is easy.
I'm like, I got this. No. Hey, look. I think we've been talking about it for a long time. The process is over. Done. You know what I'm saying? Think about how many pieces that they brought in to accommodate Joel Embiid, James Harden. Paul George, Jimmy Butler,
Yep.
Who else have we had?
Tobias Harris
Yeah,
has been there.
Tobias has Maxi. You don't brought
Maxie
in
there
all
now.
these players
Yep.
to sit here and assist him, and it's a failed product. You sat here and you try to work out this work management or load management, and it failed. He's still playing less games, still getting injured more, still having him out.
Right. Make it
Still
make sense.
having still having him. Now you get a reduction of playing 40% of the season to maybe 15-20% of the season.
Right.
So like I think it's to the point now that Joel will Philly needs to just go ahead and blow the whole team up.
Yeah,
I think that's the first thing.
Right.
Because even bringing in Paul George, like Paul George has honestly,
that was a waste.
Yeah, really, he hasn't been too productive
At all.
since. Yeah,
Right. You're trying to think. You're trying to think
I
of
am.
the last
I am
time.
because
I know.
I was like, OKC, no. Clippers, no. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
No. It was a waste.
So like it was a failed experiment. So like just blow the whole team, and the talent that you do have remaining, you're wasting them right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and
it's not fair to Maxi.
Yeah, definitely Maxi.
Not fitting. He's the ball. He's the baller on the squad.
Hey, look, Maxi has ready to go. Let's just keep it a bean right there.
So that's why I say flip it on the other side now. Should he be the one requesting the trade to get out of there? Y'all can keep the process. Because I think really he should be the one requesting the trade. And if I'm going to be honest, he has the most value to any other team. I don't want Embiid now. I definitely don't want Paul George now. So I want Maxey. He's the best guy. And I mean, if we're thinking as a general manager, this guy probably he gives me the most potential back in return.
Yep.
If we're trying to reset, and then you work through the other two pieces to kind of, like you said, we regroup, reset, and we come out with a whole new squad. I think for me, that's the fix.
No,
we agree.
Right.
We know what the problem is. We know Embiid and the rest is just trash.
The problem is the process.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Process.
That's exactly what that is. So
I agree.
Yeah, we can move on for that. I think that one's obvious.
That one was obvious. So the second most obvious to me was down in Phoenix. Let's talk about Phoenix. What's the problem there in Phoenix?
Trying to create a big three that wasn't a big three. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect against Bradley Beal. When you look at the roster that he was on in Washington, it made him look good. You know what I'm saying?
Sure did.
Like, no knock, he was still just all right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like him coming to Phoenix, you thinking that him, KD, and Book going to sit here and run the table. It just never grew to the way that it did. And here's the challenging part about it is that you already got money invested in Book, you got money invested in KD. Now you bring Beal in on a max contract. You have no cap space. None. So now it's like, what do I do with the rest of the team? And once again, Bradley Beal's still having issues and everything too, which makes it as far as like health issues and everything, which makes it worse too. So like once again, and I'm getting a little irritated of teams trying to create big threes. I think that's one of my biggest concerns right now and you like throwing up names. Yeah, you throwing up names thinking that they go to work and it doesn't. So that's what makes it even more frustrating right there. So cap space, your cap space, which is creating the lack of being able to bring in other athletes to complement, whether it's off the bench or with your starting five. That's the biggest problem in Phoenix right now.
Look, you hit it on the head. I think on paper, bringing Bradley might have looked good, but I'm like, I don't need three of the same guy. I don't need a 6'2" shooter. I don't need a 6'10" shooter. I don't need a 6'8". They all do the same thing, and they gave up Bam, and they gave up post play and rebounding when they got rid of Bam and what's his name, Guyton, DeAndre, when they traded him. Andre. I'm like, you gave up too much in the trade. You took back so little, and you basically got the same guys. It doesn't work, and I think initially the thought was that these guys would shoot everybody out the gym. It's kind of hard. If you got shooters, the shooters need the ball. Shooters need
Yeah.
to be in rhythm, and if all three are doing the same thing and there's only one ball, it just doesn't work. And I think at this point, it's time to reset. I know I damn sure ain't giving up Book because he's the youngest of the three. I need to
Hmm.
figure out what am I doing with KD or Beal, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I look at KD now; he can still score, but he's not as dynamic and he's not as accurate or deadly as he used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Father Time catches up. So again, what I
Hmm.
know he didn't want to get traded,
Yeah.
but again, if I'm putting my GM hat on now, when I look and I move forward, do I really consider trading him now? Yes. I have to get
Yeah.
some, and I have to get something back in return. He still brings value, but just not as much value as he did, especially at his peak when he was with Golden State, and they won those championships. That 1A
Yeah.
guy conversation to LeBron is really no more. So I
Yeah.
would definitely consider moving on from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's another team at one point that was causing some ruckus, and they were in the four teams that we mentioned out east. It was
Hmm.
the Heat. And the Heat
Okay.
for a minute, they were a problem somewhat in the East. So when we look at them now, I mean, we've seen we've seen the ball drop in Miami, but like, is there a fix or is there something that could be done that kind of puts Miami back in the conversation in the East maybe next season?
It just going to depends on what they do in the off season. I mean, are they going to unload Wiggins or Kyle Anderson that they
Right.
got from the trade from Jimmy Butler? That's going to be the key thing because right now the expectations is for Tyler Hero to sit here and step up and
Yeah.
be that guy because
Yeah.
I guess that was the issue that
Yeah.
there wasn't no balance. Like there was this push for Hero, but that's going to be the biggest thing right now. And what are you going to do to help out Adebayo too?
Mm,
Because you're going to have to keep him happy as well.
right.
So like I think Miami is more in a challenging spot than is Miami. And I guess the issue is that when we're talking about younger players too, I think it's an issue with the O guard as well too, and you have Pat
Mm,
Riley down there as
that's a
well.
good point.
So
That's a
is
good
with
point.
some of the comments that he made in reference to Jimmy Butler and how the league is now, is there going to be any young players that are going
Mm,
to be willing
yeah,
to go down there and play for
that's a
him?
really
So
good.
I think that's a factor too.
That is a really, really good. But I get a side eye because if the money's right, if the
Yeah,
money's right,
yeah. If the money's right, they'll go.
right.
You
But I
know.
do like your point though, because the league, and we talked about it before, the
Hmm.
league, there is a changing of the guard in the league.
Yeah.
It's no longer, and I think really after this year, I don't think the LeBron, Steph,
Hmm.
KD
Yeah.
conversation carries the same type of weight that it has in the past. We're definitely looking at these new, younger, dynamic players that have entered the league and start really battling. I mean, look, Wemby, unfortunately he got hurt, but I mean, this
Yeah.
guy is a phenomenon. He's a walking stat sheet, and he could just revolutionize just the way the game is played as
Yeah.
well. So I agree. But Pat Riley probably gonna have to dig into his pockets
Yeah.
to really bring that new talent in. And last team on the sheet was the Timberwolves. It's kind of
Mm.
been and I left them last because to me that was the hardest one. And I mean each year the league changes. To go
Yeah.
from where they were the top of the West, one of the top two teams in the West,
Hmm.
kind of have it's been a pretty precipitous fall, if you will, in a struggle this year. And what do you see as the fix or the tweak or change that maybe they need to kind of get back into that top tier of the West?
Well, one, they got to get healthy because you got Julius Randle out, DiVincenzo's out with a foot injury, Skates McGee or Rudy Gobert, he's
Well,
out.
yeah,
Um,
Deebo.
and then,
I don't like
yeah.
that. He don't look like that dude at all. Skates.
And then, Then you have Jesse Edwards too. So you got some starters that are gone that I think is, kind of like that downslide right now.
Right.
But if I'm being honest, Minnesota chose the wrong guy to lead the team.
You think so?
You know what I'm saying? You had two Twin Towers. Hell yeah. And I brought this up before. Like, look, I get it. On paper, you have Rudy that's like a two-time defensive player of the year, right? But does his defense show up in the playoffs? And I think that it has been shown
that's a good
that
point.
even when he was in Utah, all right, because I think that's when he got his first one. Even when he was in Utah, for me, I think he's just a big body that can stick his hand up. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so
that's fair.
When you look at his and Cat performance, Cat had a more balance of offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? Both of them just couldn't be on the court at the same time because now you're giving up something. You're giving up like your I want to say play action, but pretty much like your fast breaks and everything.
Right.
You got two slow 7-footers, strutting down the floor. You know what I'm saying? That's giving your offense to sit here and get ready for defense. You know what I'm saying? So they had to like young it up. No knock against Gobert, but I really just think that Cat had more of the presence that Anthony Edwards needs on the court right now than what Gobert does. So I think that's the fault right there. I think that you traded the wrong player. And I mean, look at what Cat's doing out there in New York.
He got some freedom, and you see in the payout and the payoff.
Yeah,
from the trade and for him, and I think it only gets better for him. Like I said, when Mitchell Robinson is solid, when you get his sea legs and he can actually get in there and give them some long minutes, I think you even see it even more with Cat. And like I said, I mean, we don't know too, though. I mean, from what I seen when Julius was there before he got injured, I mean, it seemed like it was very up and down, trying to get itself connected with what Minnesota does. And the same thing, like you said, DiVincenzo's been hurt. So, I mean, they have some pieces that have not been part of the full contemporary starting five that you can really see. But I do agree with you. If they may have gotten rid of the wrong person. And for y'all don't know, man, go check out Skates McGee. Because I know y'all probably saw it. Y'all probably like the same way, like, who? What? So just go check out Skates McGee. And then come back and talk to us. Because Sam don't like this guy.
Hey, look, he be sliding all on the court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he be all over the place, man. But I mean, that's what you bring up a very valid point. But we'll see, how these teams, calibrate, for the rest of this season, and prepare for next season. Which, look, I'm really interested to see speedy recovery, man. To Kyrie, man.
Absolutely.
Godfather of the hand. He Godfather of the handle. You know what I mean? He one of the baddest cats out there.
It's just tough because he was like that one glimmer for a Mavs fan. That one glimmer of like if he could sustain, and it was a freak accident, but it was also too much. Like you're putting too much on him just because of the talent that you have that's currently hurt right now. So like my hat to him. The positivity that he brought. His leadership, like all of that's going to be missed on the court. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I was just about to say I don't think just the way Dallas is right now, you don't have anyone that's actually able to step up in that role. So it's a tough loss for the remainder of the season.
I agree with you 300%. And I just want to say, I wanted to commend him because there was a time in the not too recent history in past of Kyrie's career. He was being talked about like he was a tumor, from his time in Brooklyn and things like that. And to watch him acquiesce into the flow of Dallas, become, like you just said, a true team leader. He did all of the things that was asked of him, score, pass, whatever it was on the basketball court. So it was hard to watch. But like I said, kudos to Kyrie, man. Speedy recovery. And I hope to see you back on the court real soon. And we coming to the back end. Of man, time flies when we out here having fun and we cooking and we talk about Skates McGee and all these cats. But we always like to end the show on a random note. So tonight, I don't know, man. I had nothing else in the tank. But then I was just thinking, I was like, I got hungry. It just made me think of breakfast. I don't know why. So if we doing breakfast, is it the Froot Loops or is it the Lucky Charms that you're going with? Which one you reaching for first?
I don't know. I mean, both of them are diabetes in a bag, if I'm being honest. But if I had to, I would rather have Fruit Loops versus Lucky Charms.
Man.
Like, look,
All day.
all right. So when I was in my early soldier days, right, and we would have like the mobile. I think they were called MKTs, which were your mobile kitchen kits that would come out and like serve you breakfast and everything. You had like that one hot meal in the day before you eat damn MREs all day. So like all the hot food, eggs, and all that stuff that would be gone. So you just left with cereal. And like if you showed up in chow line too late, like the last thing that you would have would be that damn Raisin Bran and Lucky Charms. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a big fan of raisins to begin with, but like them Lucky Charms, like you pour it in there. First off, is majority like marshmallow dust. All right, so let's just be straight with that. So now you get now you got this like churned milk because of the marshmallow dust. Then on top of that, it's like 95% marshmallows with like 2 little X's or whatever for the actual cereal bit. So like,
oh my goodness,
Fruit Loops all day.
Hey, look, man, I'm with you, man. Just on the random fact we close. I'm always saying I'm on the Fruit Loop because I noticed that you took my thunder. Because one of the things, I mean, I would eat Lucky Charms, but I didn't like the chalky, milky goop that kind of built up. If you let the marshmallow sit too long.
You over here with brick mortar. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't a big fan of that. And at least Fruit Loops, I know I can eat them dry, and I ain't really had to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You can shake them up like some sunflower seeds and everything. You good. You know what I'm saying?
Good. Yeah, man.
What you gonna do with Lucky Charms? You know what I'm saying? Figure out a math problem on the blackboard.
Yeah, man. I'm with you on that. So, man, look, just had to end the show, man. On a high note, with some fun. I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for being here with Sam and I each and every week. Man, we doing big things this season. We continue to roll along, with 2 Mics Up. I got a special coming up this Thursday. One of my Infusion TV mates, she's coming back her 4th season. Beauty with Tina, Beauty and Me with Tina, man. We're gonna be rocking, talking about her season 4 premiere, and she's also going to be talking about an autism summit that she's going to be working with, nice. Mother. Yeah, man, great. I fell in love with that, just talking to her about that, and I'm honored to be able to sit down and talk with her this Thursday about her season premiere and the Autism Summit. So if you have some time, ladies and gentlemen, share it with your friends. Come back Thursday night, 8 p.m. It'll be here on our YouTube channel and the Mogul TV Global Network, powered by my all-new channel, Infusion TV. Come hang out with us. And look, season 8. 2 Mics Up. We back and we live and we kicking. Next week, Monday, we're gonna be kicking off an all new season with my brother, Mr. Kendrick Cross, Country Wayne fame. Come check it out, man. We had great conversation, great fun, super cool dude. Follow the show, stick with us, man, as we kick off our 8th season of 2 Mics Up. Before we go, Sam, man, I gotta give you, a couple of moments of shine. Take it away, ladies and gentlemen. Our co-host, Big A Sam Adams, man, one of the funniest guys I know, man, multi-talented. Sam, where can people find you, man, and what you got going on?
Well, first off, this is the weekend of Laricon. Now, I know that I've been talking about it for weeks on end. So we'll have hopefully we could get that 2 Mics Up exclusive of everything that transpires over the week. And so that's what's happening starting on the 6th. Secondly, y'all already know, y'all can catch me on all gaming platforms, Osarge Gaming. Currently right now, Monster Hunter. I bought that for my birthday last month. Okay. I mean, or last week, which last month, but I've been playing heavy into that. Kind of put everything else to rest. But still, that doesn't hurt if you want to do some Call of Duty. Some Madden or something, just holla at me, get into my DMs on Instagram, same thing, Osarge Gaming. Come holler at me. We'll link something up and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm kind of excited about this weekend. So
yeah, I'm excited about it too, man. I can't wait to sit down and go over some of the footage and things that you have and lay them out and let you talk about it and share with our audience, for our gaming community and our
Yeah.
fans who
It's
are
pop
also into
culture too.
comics. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
a huge culmination. So I think they officially announced Janelle Monáe being there as one
Oh,
of
that's
the
what's up.
panel speakers.
That's what's up.
But there's a lot of other events. They have
Mhm.
one of my homeboys. He has a wrestling um, forum that I plan on attending on Friday
Okay.
to support him and everything. So I think it's going to be a really good time. And if you have time this weekend, just go to blurtcon.org. Look at the tickets. Just pop up. And have a good time because it's for us. You know what I'm saying? If we
Right.
can't support our own events, we're doing
Mm,
an injustice. If you're able to go to Comic Con, Galaxy Con,
that's right.
Awesome Con, that's actually
Right.
happening in a couple of months. Like, go and support your own too. So it's
Man.
very key that we keep that up so they can keep on growing too and get larger venues. It's out in Crystal City, but yeah, just come down and have a good time.
Man, look, I couldn't have said that any better, man. Definitely go out. Let's go out and support our own. Even if it's a ticket drop, buy yourself a ticket, man,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
just enjoy a couple of hours of events and different
yeah.
things there in Crystal City. Come out and enjoy, man. And if you see Sam, man, shout him out. Tell him
Yeah.
what's up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you'll see me. Maybe I'll be cosplaying.Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? But you'll be seeing me out there.
Well, I look forward to it. Like I said, I look forward to the footage, man, and seeing what you bring back to share. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz Kings Corner edition. I'm your humble host, Damon Cunningham, aka Dame D NYDC. You can follow, Two Mics Up. We on Facebook, we on IG. I'm gonna change this one because I just got off of X. But you can also follow us here on YouTube. You can get us online, www.twomicsup.com. And we are the real talk show, man, with some dope guests. We've been blessed to keep rolling along four awards over the last couple of years. So I thank you all for rolling along with us. And look, like we do at the end of each and every show, get my words together. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.